This story is titled, My Brother Knocked Up My Fiancée, and My Dad Gave Him the Family Business and a House, so I Made Them Pay for It the Hard Way. Hey everyone, before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. Okay guys, this is going to be a long one, but I need to get this off my chest. The stuff that's happened in my family recently is seriously messed up, but to understand why it hit me so hard, you gotta know the background first. I, 33 male, grew up with my younger brother Alex, 30 male, in what looked like a normal family from the outside. But man, the dynamics in our house were seriously twisted. See, Alex was this miracle baby. Mom had a really rough pregnancy with him, and he was super sick for his first couple years. Like, in and out of hospital sick. Breathing problems, infections, the whole deal. I remember sitting in hospital waiting rooms a lot when I was a kid. I get it. Having a sick kid is scary. But even after Alex got better, my parents, especially my dad, kept treating him like he was made of glass. Meanwhile, I was expected to be this perfect, responsible older brother who should know better about everything. Alex could skip school. He needs his rest. Alex failed a class. He's been through so much. Alex broke something expensive. Don't be mad at your brother. But me? I had to get perfect grades, never talk back, help around the house, and basically act like a mini adult from age 7. The double standards were insane. Like, I remember this one time in high school, I got detention for being late to class one time and was grounded for a week. That same month, Alex got caught skipping school to hang with his friends at the mall, and my parents just had a talk with him about it. I started working with my dad in his electrical business when I was 15. Not because I was super passionate about being an electrician back then, but because it was the only way to get any real attention or approval from him. And you know what? I actually got good at it. Really good. Started learning everything I could about electrical work, staying late to watch Dad do the complicated stuff, reading manuals and watching YouTube videos to learn more. Meanwhile, Alex was, well, Alex. Smart kid when he wanted to be, but zero work ethic. Could charm anyone with his poor little sick kid routine that he never grew out of. He tried college for like 2 semesters, dropped out because it was too stressful. Started some online business selling drop-shipped junk that failed. Then tried to be a day trader and lost a bunch of Dad's money. But somehow, I was still the one getting lectures about supporting your brother and family comes first. I'm not gonna lie, it created this weird mix of resentment and responsibility in me. Like, I loved my brother because he's my brother, but I also couldn't stand being around him most of the time. We were total opposites. I was the serious, hardworking one who valued keeping my word and doing things right. He was the fun one who never faced consequences and thought rules were for other people. Dad's business was solid. Basic residential electrical work, some light commercial stuff. Nothing fancy, but it paid the bills. I saw the potential in it, though. When I wasn't on jobs, I was learning about new technology, smart home systems, security installations. Dad was old school. Liked doing things the way he'd always done them. But I kept pushing to modernize, take on bigger projects. The crazy thing is, even when I brought in new clients or finished big jobs perfectly, Dad would find some way to give Alex credit. Your brother's charm really helps with customer relations. He answered phones sometimes. Alex has such good ideas for the business. He suggested we get a website in 2020. I moved out as soon as I could afford it, got my own place about 20 minutes from my parents. Close enough to help with the business, far enough to have some space. Thought I was doing pretty good, you know. Had my own apartment, was making decent money, learning new skills, was even thinking about getting my master electrician license and maybe starting my own business someday. I met this girl I'll call Sophie, 29 female, about 6 years ago, on this big rewiring job we had at these luxury apartments downtown. She was the property manager there. First time I saw her, she was arguing with some HVAC guys about their shoddy work. Like, really getting into the technical details of why their installation wasn't up to code. I remember thinking, damn, she actually knows her stuff. Most property managers I dealt with just wanted things done cheap and fast. But Sophie was different. She'd actually read through all the electrical codes, knew exactly what she wanted done. First couple weeks on the job, she kept coming around to check our work. Not in an annoying way, she was genuinely interested in understanding what we were doing and why. I started taking my lunch breaks when I knew she'd be doing her rounds. We'd talk about the project at first, then about other things. She told me about growing up with her dad, who was a general contractor, how she learned all about construction from helping him on jobs. I told her about wanting to modernize my dad's business, maybe expand into more commercial work. She was easy to talk to, like I could rant about dealing with my family drama and she actually got it. Her brother was the favorite kid too, some hotshot lawyer type who could do no wrong. We joke about starting a support group for the responsible siblings. After we finished the apartment job, I figured that was it. But about a week later, she called the office about some urgent electrical issue in her personal apartment. Dad sent me to check it out. Turns out there wasn't actually anything wrong. She just wanted to see me again. Pretty smooth move, I gotta admit. We started dating after that. Sophie was different from other girls I dated. She didn't play games or expect me to read her mind. If something was bothering her, she'd just say it. If she was happy, you knew it. Plus, she actually cared about my work, would help me study for my licensing exams, even started helping out with the business side of things. Within a year, she was basically running our office, set up this whole new scheduling system, modernized our invoicing, created proper contracts instead of the handwritten quotes we used to do. Dad wasn't too happy about it at first, likes doing everything on paper, but even he had to admit the business was running smoother. I finally felt like I was building something real. We moved in together after 2 years. Started talking about marriage, maybe having kids someday. Sophie would joke about our future kids being electricians too, carrying on the family business. Man, I really thought I had it all figured out. The funny thing is, my family actually liked her at first. Mom was always inviting us over for dinner, asking Sophie for help with computer stuff or getting her opinion on home improvements. Even Dad warmed up to her once he saw how much she was helping the business grow. We were landing bigger contracts, getting more commercial work, building a real reputation in the area. Sophie got along great with Alex, too. She'd defend him sometimes when I'd get frustrated about his latest failed scheme. Said I should try to understand his perspective more, how growing up sick might have affected him. Looking back now, I should have seen that as a red flag. But you know how it is when you trust someone completely. You don't want to see the signs. We got engaged after 4 years together. Nothing fancy. I proposed at home after we finished this huge project we'd been working on together. She'd been helping me plan this major electrical upgrade for a local hospital, stayed up late with me going over plans, dealing with contractors. It felt right, like we were really partners in everything. About a year ago, that's when things started changing. Alex had burned through another chunk of Dad's money trying to start some crypto trading business. Came back home broke, again, and Dad gave him a job in our office. Just basic stuff, answering phones, filing paperwork, scheduling appointments. Should have been simple enough, but of course Alex found ways to mess it up. Sophie started spending more time at my parents' house, helping Mom with wedding planning and stuff. Said it was easier to work on the business paperwork there too since Alex was learning the systems. I was busy with jobs most days, so it made sense at the time. After that, things started getting really messed up. About 8 months before everything blew up, I started noticing small changes. Nothing huge at first, just little things that didn't add up. Sophie was spending more time at my parents' house, helping with the business stuff. Said she was training Alex on our new invoice system and helping Mom with wedding plans. Made sense, right? I was out on jobs most days, working my ass off to save up for our future. We were planning this whole wedding, talking about buying a house. I wanted to do things right, but then other stuff started happening. Sophie changed her phone password. Never really hit her phone before. We both knew each other's passwords, no big deal. But suddenly she got weird about it. Said her banking app needed her to update security or something. Whatever. I trusted her completely, so I didn't think much about it. Then Alex started acting different too. Started wearing cologne to work. Dude used to show up in yesterday's clothes half the time. Got all these new clothes. Started actually showing up to work on time, which was weird for him. He was being weirdly nice to me too, offering to stay late at the office, saying he really wanted to learn the business. I noticed Sophie talking about him differently. Alex is really getting good at handling the scheduling, or your brother's actually pretty smart when he applies himself. She'd get kind of defensive if I complained about him messing something up. Even started taking his side in family arguments. The office vibe got weird too. Our receptionist, Janet, been with us 15 years, she's like a second mom, started giving me these looks when Sophie and Alex would be working late together. But whenever I'd ask what was up, she'd just say nothing and change the subject. One time I came back to the office early from a job because we ran out of materials. Sophie and Alex were in the break room laughing about something. Nothing obviously wrong, but they both jumped like they were caught doing something when I walked in. Sophie said they were just going over some invoices. At 7 p.m. Right. Started noticing Sophie didn't talk about our future as much. Used to be all excited about wedding plans, looking at houses online, talking about what kind of family we'd have. But she got quiet about all that. Said she was just stressed about work. The real red flag I ignored is that she stopped coming to job sites to check on projects. Used to be our thing. She'd bring lunch, we'd go over plans, figure out solutions to problems together. But suddenly she was too busy at the office. With Alex. About 6 months ago, we had this big family dinner. Sophie was acting weird all night, barely talking, checking her phone a lot. Alex kept trying to make these inside jokes with her. Like this one time he said something about that crazy guy at the office, and Sophie actually snorted laughing. But when I asked what was funny, they both just said, "You had to be there." After dinner, in the car ride home, I finally brought it up. "You okay? You seemed off tonight." Sophie kept staring at her phone. "Just tired. Work's been crazy." "Yeah, seems like you and Alex are getting along better these days." She kind of tensed up but tried playing it casual. "He's not as bad as you always say. He's actually pretty funny when you get to know him. Funny enough to make you ignore everyone else at dinner." "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing, just, you've been different lately. Distant. Always on your phone." She got defensive real quick. "Oh, so I'm not allowed to have my own conversations now? Everything has to be about you." That caught me off guard. Sophie never talked to me like that before. "That's not what I said. Just feels like something's changed. Maybe you're just paranoid. I'm tired of you always complaining about Alex. He's trying his best. I remember getting this sick feeling in my gut. Like something was really wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it." She'd never defended Alex like that before. "Since when are you Team Alex?" "Since I actually got to know him instead of just listening to you bash him all the time." We drove the rest of the way in silence. Man, all the signs were there. The defensive attitude, the phone, the inside jokes, the way she suddenly thought Alex was so great. But you never want to believe someone you trust completely could do that to you. Especially not with your own brother. I remember lying there that night, watching her pretend to sleep, thinking, nah, I'm just being paranoid. The next couple months were just more of the same. Sophie working late, Alex suddenly interested in the business. Me, being a complete idiot, working 12-hour days trying to save up for our future, while my brother was stealing my girl right under my nose. Then came the day, everything exploded. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I was on this big commercial job, rewiring this warehouse. Sophie called around 2 p.m., crying so hard I could barely understand her. Said she needed to talk to me in person. It was urgent. My first thought was something happened to her parents or something. Told my crew I had a family emergency and drove straight home. Found her sitting in her car in our driveway. She wouldn't come inside. Just sat there, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping her together. I got in the passenger seat, waiting for her to say something. "I'm pregnant," she said. For a few seconds, I felt nothing but happiness. We'd talked about starting a family after the wedding, and now it was happening. I started going on about how we'd figure it out, how we could move the wedding up if we needed to. She just kept crying. "There's more," she choked out. It might not be yours." Everything inside me went still. My brain refused to process it at first, like I had to run it through a second time to make sure I heard her right. "Might not be mine?" My voice sounded weird, like it wasn't even mine. "Who else's would it?" I stopped. It clicked all at once. The late nights. The sudden secrecy with her phone. The weird tension whenever I brought up. "No." I stared at her, waiting for her to deny it, to tell me I was wrong. She didn't. "Tell me it's not him." Her breath hitched. My hands curled into fists. "Sophie!" My voice was sharp now, demanding. "Tell me it's not Alex." She made this broken sound in her throat. "It wasn't supposed to happen." I let out a sharp laugh, but there was no humor in it. "Oh, right. You just tripped and fell into my brother's bed?" "It wasn't like that," she said quickly. "It was one time—" I cut her off. "One time?" My head was pounding. "Tell me the truth." Nothing but silence. "How long?" Her breath was uneven. 3 months, maybe 4. I had to press my hands to my knees to steady myself. "Does he know?" My voice was tight, controlled. She nodded. "I told him yesterday. That's when I realized I had to tell you too." I stared at her. Like she expected me to be grateful, she finally decided to come clean. I got out of the car. Needed air. She followed me, trying to explain how it wasn't planned, how guilty they both felt, how they'd ended it weeks ago. All I could think about was them laughing in the break room. All those times they were working late. "Were you ever going to tell me if you weren't pregnant?" She didn't answer. That told me everything I needed to know. Got in my truck and drove straight to my parents' house. Found Alex in the office doing fuck all like usual. Soon as he saw my face, he knew I knew. "Listen, bro, I can explain." I don't really remember what happened next. It's all kind of a blur. But I do remember him on the ground, blood coming from his nose, Dad and two of our employees pulling me off him. Alex started yelling about how I was crazy, how Sophie came onto him first, how they were in love. In love. My own brother. The guy who'd watched me plan my future with this woman, who'd sat there at Sunday dinners knowing what he was doing. Dad got between us, tried to calm everyone down, said we needed to handle this like adults. That's when Alex dropped the next bomb. She's having my baby! You can't just ignore that. Dad's face went white. Guess he didn't know about that part yet. Mom started crying. Janet grabbed her purse and walked out. Found out later she quit that day, said she couldn't work for people who do something like this. I looked at my dad and said, "He's your problem now. I'm done." Dad tried to stop me. "Son, wait. We can figure this out. Family is family." I told him Alex stopped being my family the second he touched my fiancée. Walked out and haven't been back since. Sophie was still at our place when I got home. She'd packed some bags, was sitting on the couch crying. "I never meant to hurt you," she said. "It just got complicated." Told her she had 24 hours to get her stuff and get out. Didn't care where she went. Block my number, lose my address. "What about the baby?" she asked. "Better hope it's Alex's, because if it's mine, we're doing a DNA test and going through lawyers." She tried to say more, but I just walked out. Drove to my buddy Mike's place and crashed there for a few days while she moved out. So after everything went down, I stayed at my buddy Mike's place for about a week, turned my phone off, just needed to process everything. Mike's a real one. Didn't try to give advice or anything, just let me crash. When I finally turned my phone back on, had like 50 missed calls. Most from my parents, some from Sophie, even a few from Alex. The nerve of this guy. But I only listened to the ones from Mom. She was crying in most of them, begging me to come talk to Dad, saying he had a solution. Should have known Dad's solution would be some manipulative BS. But I went anyway, mostly because Mom sounded so upset. Walking into that house was weird. I found everyone in the living room. Mom looked like she hadn't slept in days. Dad was in his usual spot in his recliner, looking all serious like when he's about to give one of his lectures. Alex was there too, sporting a nice bruised nose. Not gonna lie, that felt good to see. Dad cleared his throat and hit me with this gem. "Son, I've been thinking about how to resolve this situation in a way that benefits everyone. Already knew this was gonna be bad. Since you're clearly not willing to work things out with Sophie, and given her condition, I think it makes sense for her and Alex to get married." I actually laughed, like full-on laughed in his face. But he wasn't done. Furthermore, since they'll be starting a family, I think it's appropriate for Alex to take over the business. With Sophie's experience running the office and Alex learning the trade, they could... Alex learning the trade? I cut him off. He can't even wire a fucking outlet without supervision. Dad got that look he always gets when someone interrupts him. Language. And your brother has shown real interest in learning. In fact, I want you to train him. Guys, I lost it. Started laughing again, but like that crazy laugh you do when something's so messed up you can't even process it. "Let me get this straight," I said. "You want me to train the brother who screwed my fiancée to take over the business I helped build? While they're married and raising a kid that might be mine? Are you actually insane?" Mom started crying again. Alex just sat there staring at the floor like a coward. Dad pulled out his final card. "This business is still in my name. If you won't help your brother, maybe you should find somewhere else to work." That's when I knew. All those years of work meant nothing. All that time I put in, the clients I brought in, the reputation I built, meant nothing compared to precious Alex's latest screw-up. I just got up, walked to the door. Mom tried to stop me, but I just said, "I'm done. Good luck with your new golden team." Alex finally spoke up. "Bro, wait." Turned around and just said, "Call me bro again and I'll break more than your fucking nose." Dad yelled after me about family loyalty and second chances. Didn't even look back. Next day, I started calling all our major clients, ones I had personal relationships with. Told them I was leaving. Suggested some other good contractors they could work with. Dad called screaming about how I was trying to sabotage the business. Told him I was just letting my clients know I wouldn't be handling their jobs anymore. Not my fault if they didn't want to work with his new dream team. Alex and Sophie actually agreed to this whole thing. Got married at the courthouse 2 weeks later, like it was some kind of love story instead of a complete betrayal. Dad even backed them up, gave them a down payment for a house, like rewarding them for what they did. Meanwhile, I was left standing in the wreckage of everything I thought I knew. No apology, no real consequences. Just me being expected to move on while they played happy family. So I did. Walked away from all of it. Took a job with one of our old competitors. A place that actually valued my work instead of treating me like an afterthought. Better pay, real appreciation, and best of all, zero family drama. Put everything into starting fresh, building my own reputation. Even got my master electrician license, something Dad always said I wasn't ready for. Turns out I was more than ready. Just needed to get out from under his shadow to prove it. I didn't hear much about what was happening with the family business for about 4 months. Mom would text sometimes, but I asked her not to tell me about Alex or Sophie. Didn't need that stress in my life. Then last week got this call from Mom at like 11 p.m. She was crying, again, saying Dad needed to talk to me urgently. Almost hung up, but she sounded really messed up. Please, she said. I know you have every right to say no, but we're about to lose everything. I was actually curious, and I stayed on the line. Dad got on, and man, his voice was different. Not the usual I know everything tone. Guy sounded broken. Turns out letting Alex run the business was exactly the disaster I predicted. This genius managed to screw up 3 major commercial jobs so badly that one client is threatening to sue us over code violations. I'm talking about basic stuff. Wrong gauge wiring, missing ground wires, junction boxes installed without covers. The kind of mistakes that could literally burn a building down. And it gets better. Instead of hiring actual qualified electricians, he brought in his drinking buddy from college as head electrician. The guy's whole electrical experience was changing light bulbs in his apartment. No license, no certifications, probably couldn't tell a voltage tester from a screwdriver. Real professional operation they're running there. Then there's the money side. Alex apparently forgot to pay their liability insurance in an electrical business. Let that sink in. One accident, one fire, and they'd lose everything. But hey, why waste money on silly things like insurance when you can pocket the cash instead? Because that's exactly what he was doing, taking cash payments from customers and conveniently forgetting to put them in the books. And the financial genius had been taking out loans against the business without telling Dad. Multiple loans. We're talking serious money here. And the best part? Nobody can figure out where all that cash went. Not in his bank account, not invested anywhere, just gone. Like magic. Though I'm betting his new car and those designer clothes he's been wearing might be a clue. It's almost impressive how thoroughly he managed to wreck everything in just a few months. Took Dad 30 years to build this business, and Alex practically burned it to the ground in less than half a year. Guess that's what happens when you hand over a successful company to someone whose biggest achievement was making beer pong team captain in college. Dad finally found out when their insurance got canceled, and he started digging into the books. Alex had been hiding all the problems by messing with the paperwork, something he learned from Sophie during all those late nights at the office. Most of their experienced guys quit. Can't blame them. Alex was treating them like crap, and checks started bouncing. Janet, our old receptionist, apparently tried warning Dad months ago about weird stuff in the accounts, but he wouldn't listen. Dad's voice was shaking when he told me all this. Then hit me with, "Son, I need you to come back. Help me fix this. We can make you majority owner, give you full control." Told him I needed to think about it. He started getting desperate. "Please, we're going to lose everything. The business, the house, everything I built. Your mother, she's not handling this well." Then he played his final card. Alex and Sophie split up. She left last week, just disappeared, left a note saying not to contact her. The baby, we don't even know where she is. Guess Alex wasn't daddy material after all. My response? Not my circus, not my monkeys anymore. Dad started with his usual guilt trip about family and loyalty. Cut him off. Remember when I begged you not to give the business to Alex? When I told you he'd run it into the ground? What was it you said? Oh yeah, family is family. Well, this is your family's mess now. Mom got back on the phone crying about how they might be homeless soon. That hit hard. Mom doesn't deserve any of this. She's the only one who ever tried to keep the family together. The only one who didn't pick a side. Even when maybe she should have. Told her she could come stay with me anytime. Just her, though. Not Dad. Not Alex. "I can't leave your father," she said. I sighed. "Then that's your choice, Mom. But my door's only open for you." It sucked, knowing she'd never walk through it. A couple of days later, I got a text from Sophie. "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but I need help. The baby's yours." I got the test results. Alex took all my money and disappeared. Please, I don't have anywhere else to go. I read it, stared at it, put my phone down, didn't respond. Not gonna. But damn if it didn't sit there like a brick in my gut, like a punch I saw coming, but still didn't know how to take. It should have meant something. It should have been life-changing. But all I felt was exhaustion. Like I'd finally crawled out of this mess, only for it to reach back and try to pull me under again. And for the first time, I wasn't sure what to do. As I was trying to wrap my head around the fucked up mess, Dad showed up at my apartment last night. No warning, just standing there when I got home from work. Looking rough, wearing this old jacket I remember from when I was a kid, hadn't shaved in what looked like weeks. First thing I noticed was he was driving Mom's old Civic instead of his truck. Found out later they had to sell his truck to pay some of the business debts. "Can we talk?" he asked. Not demanding like usual. Actually sounded tired. I let him in because honestly, wanted him to see how I was doing without his help. My new place is pretty sweet. Got it after my last promotion. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. Earned it myself. He stood in my living room looking lost, like he didn't know how to talk to me without giving orders. Finally sat down and just started spilling everything. The business is basically dead. They're facing lawsuits from 2 commercial clients over Alex's garbage work. Most of their residential customers jumped ship after word got around about jobs being left half-finished. "Bank's coming for the house next month." "I should have listened to you," he said. First time I've ever heard him admit being wrong about anything. Told him that was nice to hear, but kind of late. Then, he pulled out this folder. Inside was paperwork to sign the business over to me. 100% ownership. No strings attached. "You can save it," he said. "You always knew what you were doing. I was just too proud to see it." Know what's crazy? 6 months ago, this would have been everything I wanted. All that validation, finally being given control, Dad admitting I was right, but sitting there looking at those papers. "What happened to Alex?" I asked. Dad's face just crumpled. Said Alex cleared out their savings account last week and disappeared. Left this note about needing to find himself or some BS. Classic Alex. Creates a disaster, then runs away from the consequences. "He's still your brother," Dad said quietly. Number. He stopped being my brother the day he decided family loyalty meant nothing to him. Sound familiar? That hit him hard. Good. Started telling me how he could help me rebuild the business, how we could work together, be a real family again. Had to laugh. "Dad, you're not hearing me. I don't want the business. I don't want your help. I'm done. But this is your legacy too. Everything we built. Everything I built, you gave to Alex. Remember? You chose him even after he slept with my fiancée. Now you get to live with that choice." He tried guilt-tripping me about Mom again. How she's heartbroken about the family falling apart. Told him same thing as before. "She's welcome here anytime. Just her. She won't leave me," he said. "Then that's her choice. And living with the consequences of your actions? That's yours." He sat there for a long time. Finally asked, real quiet, "Where did I go wrong?" Wanted to lay it all out. All the years of favoritism, the constant excuses for Alex, how he threw away someone who actually cared about the business, for someone who saw it as a piggy bank to raid. But what's the point? You didn't go wrong, Dad. You got exactly what you always wanted. Alex being in charge. How's that working out? He left soon after. Looked about 20 years older walking out than when he walked in. Got a text from Mom this morning. They're moving in with her sister in Ohio next month. Dad's gonna try finding work there. She asked one more time if I'd reconsider helping them stay here. Told her my offer stands. She can stay with me anytime she wants. But I'm done setting myself on fire to keep other people warm. Sophie still messages sometimes about the baby. I told her to have her lawyer contact mine. Haven't heard from Alex. Don't expect to. You know what's weird? I thought watching them lose everything would feel good. Like karma hitting them back for what they did to me. But honestly, I just feel nothing. Not happy, not sad. Just done. I started dating someone new last month. Taking it slow. She asked about my family and I just said we're not close. Maybe someday I'll tell her the whole story. But for now, I'm focused on building my own life. No drama, no toxic family BS, no trying to earn approval that never comes. I told Sophie everything goes through the lawyers from now on. Will I be there for my kid? Yeah, I'm not my brother. I don't abandon my responsibilities. But Sophie burned that bridge to ashes. We'll figure out custody and support through the courts. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them just like everyone else in this mess. For now, I'm just trying to keep my head straight. Focus on work, my new relationship, building something that's just mine. Some nights I lie awake thinking about how messed up it is that my kid's gonna be born into all this drama. But you can't fix other people's mistakes. You can only try to do right by your own conscience. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well. Edit. This is the last part, guys. Thanks for following along. Writing it all out actually helped sort through some stuff in my head. Edit 2. Since people keep asking, yes, if Sophie can prove the baby exists and is mine, I'll step up. But only through legal channels. No direct contact.
Did you enjoy my story? What a journey it has been. I truly wonder what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have chosen silence to keep the peace, or would you have done what I did to reclaim your dignity? Let's meet in the comments below. I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. I'm reading every single one. Which city are you listening from tonight? If my story resonated with you, you can support me and help me bring more stories like this to the world by sending a super thanks. Your sweet support means the world to me and allows me to continue this journey with all of you. On the screen now, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend you watch next. There are so many more on my channel, each with its own lessons and triumphs. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a new chapter. Thank you for being here with me. Until the next story, with love and respect.